whack by a hammer.
You can flat call, and that just petrifies them.
Right. The anvil being pounded, that's you, and that, I mean, when you're pounding, you're putting the pressure on them to read. When they're putting the pressure on you, every hand you're sitting back in your chair, what do they have? The heat's on you.
You don't want to guess.
And remember, you're never as far ahead as you think you are in No Limit Hold'em.
Well, guys, unfortunately, the heat is on me to get us out of this segment, but I do appreciate the time and the insight. Thank you very much. Guys, we are coming back with much more, so keep it tuned right here on FSN. Still to come, how can this flop be a disaster when you're holding this hand? Class is in session with the professor when we come back.
Time for a poker pop quiz.
When you raise, which of these things can happen? A, you make your opponent fold the best hand. B, you win the hand because you had the best hand and your opponent folded. C, you get called. Or D, all of the above. The answer when we come back.
FullTiltPoker.net presents Learn from the Pros.
Before the break, we asked you this question. When you raise, which of these things can happen? A, you make your opponent fold the best hand. B, you win the hand because you had the best hand and your opponent folded. C, you get called. Or D, all of the above. The correct answer is D. You're giving yourself many different ways to win the pot by raising. Remember, you have only one way to win the pot when you call. That's having the best hand. Chris Rose and Howard Leonard are back in the Fox Sports poker room. And Howard, obviously that shows you the power of the raise, right?
Well, you know, when you raise and you play aggressively, you give yourself a lot of different ways to win the hand. When you play passively and you only call, there's only one way to win the pot. You have to have the best hand when all the cards are out.
Once again, tonight's topic is aggression. So let's show you one of the more common mistakes made by the amateur poker player out there in tonight's edition of Beginner's Blunders.
Well, here we have a classic situation. We have Barry here in the big blind with ace-king suited. Very strong starting hand. It's going to be a couple of folds around to Hugh. And we see Hugh has the 10-8 suited, middle position. Not the worst hand, not the best hand, but he's an aggressive player, and he opens the pot for 50. Comes around to Amanda. She has 2 sixes. She makes a very reasonable call here on the button. Jonathan folds. And now here's the critical moment of the hand. Here's a situation where most good professionals would look down at that ace-king suited, realize it's a strong hand, but maybe not a hand where you're looking to take a flop against multiple opponents, and would make a nice, solid, about pot-size raise, 150, 160, probably end the pot right here. Instead, Barry's an amateur player. Maybe he isn't quite as aggressive as a seasoned professional, and he makes a passive just call before the flop. So now we're going to go to the flop. And we see pretty much a disaster scenario here for Barry. Barry's flopped top pair with top kicker. Obviously thinks he has the best hand. He bets 150, but as we know, Hugh has flopped 2 pair. This is the kind of hand you probably don't want to fool around with. Bottom 2 pair, bad things can happen to that hand. So Hugh looks down at his 2 pair and moves all in. Come around to Amanda. She has an easy lay down with her 2 sixes. Now Barry's in an awfully tough spot. An aggressive player like Hugh has just moved all in. Barry's got top pair, top kicker. There are a lot of hands that Hugh could have here where he has the best hand. He ends up calling a big bet. And when he turns it up and he sees that he's beat, obviously, Barry can rightfully think, you know, I got unlucky this hand. And it's true, but he caused his own bad luck by being passive before the flop. If he had been aggressive before the flop, none of this would have happened. He would have won a small pot.
You got to pay attention. Always thinking raise, raise, raise. You have to be aggressive.
You have to be aggressive. And you know, there were other ways where bad things could happen. Amanda could have flopped a set when he flopped top pair. When you play passively, bad things can happen.
So, yeah, either you be aggressive or you have Howard Leonard stand over you at the poker table. That's not going to work, so being aggressive will. We'll be back after this. Up next, forget the hype. It is game time. Kid Poker and the Mouth square off.
He didn't even think about it. He did the whole Stevie Wonder.
After it was over.
See what caused this classic poker moment when Learn from the Pros continues.
Donkey. You're a donkey.
We are back as we continue to hang out with Daniel Negreanu and the Mouth, Mike Matusow. Guys, thanks for hanging out as we go right now behind the poker face. And we have picked out a great hand that actually involved the two of you, and even during the commercial break, you guys are still bickering over this.
Yeah, because we both think that...
He still doesn't understand.
No, he doesn't understand.
After all these years.
He
This
still
is
thinks that he
2003.
knew what he was doing. It only was a year and a half
Guys,
ago.
let's
buddy.
turn this way and let
think
everybody, settle this for themselves. And this happened at the showdown at the Sands, and actually we put heart monitors on you guys as well. Daniel Negreanu, what are you thinking?
Calm, cool, collected. I just felt Mike was ready to come over the top of me, so I just limped in to try to play a pot in position with a nice suited connector there.
And I was watching Daniel, and I watched him limp in very, very weakling, and I knew he had no hand, so I decided I'm gonna pick up the pot right here.
And I decided, are
So
you
I-
nuts? You think I don't
aggress-
see right through this? I can see the wheels turning in his mind. He's like, oh, Daniel's got nothing. He took forever. I'm looking at him going, you're kidding, right? You're not taking this
No.
pot from me. He
Right.
throws that money in.
Right.
I beat him in
Yeah,
the pot.
he beats him in the pot.
Look at that. Boom.
23,000 with like 7-9 because he's going to try and outplay me on the hand.
Because I know you're just ready. I was chip leader at this point. He was second in chips. He's willing to risk his whole tournament out of position with junk.
He's looking to try and get back at me because I whooped his butt the last time we played head up. That's why he's trying to
All
make
right.
this call here.
Well, you both have a top pair, and Mike, boy, your heart rate is, do I have to call an EMT?
Well, no, my heart rate doesn't go up here. It stays about the same.
Yeah,
You know,
close
I'm
to
making
death.
my bet, and I'm saying, here comes Daniel. He's going to raise
So now
for
he
sure.
leads out. Here's the thing.
Look
I'm
at him, look at
100%
him.
certain that he doesn't have a big pair. Based on the raise he made before the flop, he does not have 10s or better. No chance. Maybe he has a better 9. But if I move all in, only an idiot, only a donkey could call here with a 9.
How about the fact I know I got him? I know I got him beat.
You
I
know,
know he
you
doesn't have
knew I
me.
didn't have 8-9?
I know
You're
you didn't have.
Serious?
Oh,
I stick you
can't
all
even say
in.
that. I mean, I just know.
He risks his whole tournament, second in
Yeah,
chips
you
on
see,
this
look
play.
look how
Then he does the
confident I
Stevie
was.
Wonder.
I was confident. I was confident. I pushed all my chips. I'm like, come on,
That's what
buddy,
he does.
let's go.
Mike's problem, he's got the Mattisau blow up. He
No,
doesn't think.
no.
The only guy in this tournament that
Look at
can
him.
bust
He's like,
him
oh, how
was
much
me.
do I have to? Oh,
I
okay.
put it.
I'm beat.
You didn't raise me, you moron. I put you all in. You had 7,000 more to
Oh,
call.
yeah, 7,000. These are thousands.
All right, guys, I want you to listen to your reaction. Here we go. This is fun.
You're free rolling, but I don't care. Diamond. Shoot. This is nuts. Are you nuts?
No, but I know you.
Are you insane?
No.
Seriously. You are an
I knew you were
absolute
calling my
maniac.
raise, and I knew you were going to make a
You're
play
just
at me.
willing to go broke with anything.
That's right, baby.
Sick
When you're already broke, you're willing to go broke with nothing, buddy. Don't worry.
Absolutely certifiably insane. That proves it right there.
Yeah.
I knew you had nothing.
Now, you guys were actually both sweating it out there. I could see a little
Yeah,
bit,
we were
guys.
both. Well, when we come to a conclusion, I mean, we argue about the hand, we talk about the hand.
We
but
never came to any conclusion.
We've come to-
He blew it. Ask any good poker
You
player. They'll
told
tell
me-
you. I was the chip leader. If I lose that hand, I'm still in good shape.
he
loses
was
it,
never in
he's
good
done.
shape.
He's
Listen.
out of position. He didn't even think about it. He did the whole Stevie Wonder.
After it was
Rewind
over,
it. I'm all in.
after it was over,
All
we
right,
both came to a
great.
conclusion. We
Guys,
both made a mistake.
Continue to talk amongst yourselves. You guys can continue to argue. We'll be back with much more here on FSN. Hold tight, all right?
You didn't. You still think you made the right play there.
I still think you're nuts.
FullTiltPoker.net presents Learn from the Pros. Brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net. Learn, chat, and play with the pros.
Coming up next week on Learn from the Pros, you can't win a tournament until you knock out that final player. The professor holds class on the mano a mano of No Limit Poker, heads up play. Plus, some of poker's biggest names share their heads up secrets. And we'll go behind the poker face of Phil Hellmuth. The game's bad boy recounts one of his most painful beats ever.
So meanwhile, I fell off the chair. I'm lying on the ground like this.
He's gone away.
I'm like this. I'm lying down on the ground going, you've got to be kidding me.
Phil, come home. All that and a few surprises. Check your local listings for the time in your region. All right, before we get out of here, we want to thank our special roundtable guests once again, Daniel Negreanu and Phil Hellmuth. Guys, thank you. And if you do want to get aggressive, you just log on to FullTiltPoker.net. You can play against the likes of Phil Gordon and Mike Mattisau, also Howard Lederer, and they're all waiting for you. I'm curious, Mike, you ever played heads up with Phil Hellmuth?
Oh, God, I wish I would. No, I play him all the time.
Would that be fun,
I
Phil?
beat him. Listen, this is a true story. I beat him for 24,000 the other day playing heads up. And
He
he's
won
still
29 of the 30
complaining.
pots, hit and run me and quit like a little sissy.
I would
He's scared.
I would watch that one,
Yeah.
wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, we did talk about a possible pay-per-view match.
Yeah, baby.
Nice. It could be right after the next Tyson fight. I look forward to that. Daniel, you played heads up against any of these guys?
I play heads up all the time. That's all I play. At Win Las Vegas, I have an open challenge. Anybody in the world, play up to $500,000. I've played him heads up. I've played him heads up.
We
played
He's over.
We played.
You know what? This guy's memory is unbelievable.
He
I'm like
beat me drunk
19
in
and 2.
He beat me drunk when we were in like hotel rooms, but when the money was on the line for the World Championship of Poker in Omaha 8 or better, he had like a 6-to-1
He
chip
is
lead.
so delusional that I've played him 21 times. He's won twice. He literally doesn't remember.
Who's got the
It's like
bracelet,
19
baby?
and 2.
Good.